I'm audible. You can hear me. That's great. Okay, this is how it begins. This is how it always begins. Phil fumbling and bumbling around on the live stream, attempting to get things in working order. But I got a few new things, a few bells and whistles. Look at this. Now you know what show you're watching. You're watching Deep in Bear Country. That's that's the logo. I have to tell myself to look off to this direction because there's not actually a logo there. It's the litter box, cat litter box is right there. I mean, not right here. It's down there. We don't make our cats like climb to get to the litter box. That would be counterintuitive on their part and result in a lot of people finding a lot of cat mess around the house. This is the Deep in Bear Country livecast, and I am talking about cats not using the toilet in the litter box. So we got that going for us. This is Deep in Bear Country. What am I doing? I am doing an episode of Deep in Bear Country. I'm doing it live. I'm doing it for you, the viewer, whether or not you're there. I don't know if there's anyone here. Let me check. Is there a viewer? Doesn't look like it. Not right now. Oh well, this thing I'm using to broadcast is supposed to tell me if there's people watching or not. Never does. It never does. But that's okay because I'm not here for the views. I'm here for the fun of it. And broadcasting live keeps me from having dead air and not knowing what to say. So as long as I can pretend I'm actually entertaining somebody, I'm home free. I'm home fries. I am down to Bearcast. That's what I'm doing. So this is Deep in Bear Country, and we are doing a live episode, and this week's book starts off with no quote, nothing at all. So instead of a quote, I will read the opening lines, paragraph, I don't know what you want to call it, the opening bit, and it goes like this. And then I'm going to try to put in the theme music. I'm going to try to do the opening line, and then I'm going to try to do the theme music. And it's probably going to screw up, but we're going to see how it goes. So, all right, here we go. Sister and brother were visiting their neighbor, Farmer Ben. They liked to help him take care of the animals on his farm. And this is the theme music that I assume is playing, but I don't have my headphones on, so I'm just gonna pop around. I may be too loud or too quiet to hear. Who knows? It's only playing through the stream. That's the magic of streaming and me not really knowing how to... I think it's done now. I think it finished. Welcome to Deep in Bear Country, Berenstain Bearcast. I'm your host, Phil Gonzalez, and this week I am live once again, live on Facebook, which is the least, like let's get you out there way to livecast anything. I think. I don't know if anyone... I think this is like the platform that people like me use, and not people who are hip and with it, you know, people who like the Berenstain Bears. But no, I'm back. I'm live. I'm live casting. Isn't that fun? And this week's book is about a topic that I don't know much about, but I have done an episode on, so I feel pretty confident speaking about it authoritatively. This week's book is from 2011, and it is, let me make sure I'm on the right image here, because I don't want to give anything away. And it is The Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony, and I Can Read book, beginning reading level 1. It's a Jan and Mike Berenstain book, and it's from 2011. And as you can see from the cover of this book, it is about a shaggy little pony. It's about a shaggy little pony, my friends, and not a happy little pony, not a frisky little pony or a smart little pony. It's a shaggy one. It's a shaggy little pony. As you can see from the title page, it's shaggy. It's a shaggy pony. And I think that's its probably most standout feature is that it's shaggy. I mean, you look at its legs, you look at its hooves, it's shaggy. You look at its face, it looks like it's seen better days. The cover page, like not the cover of the book, but the title page, features a shaggy little pony that is, at best, dealing with it. It's dealing with it. This pony's dealing with it. It has 2 kids on its back. It's dealing with it. I don't know if ponies are supposed to have two kids on their back. These two kids are on their back. They're wearing riding helmets, although Sisters does have her sister bow on top of the helmet, so it's a custom helmet. But what is this book? What are we doing here? What are we looking at here? Why the Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony? Well, as you know, this is an I Can Read book, which means it's going to be very simple, and it's going to be very much in the vein of the other readers, which is not using complex language, not using complex ideas, not telling a complex story, not really having very complex illustrations. It's just a book. It's a Berenstain Bears book to give your kids. It's a little charming. It's a little charmer, I'd say, because it's got this shaggy pony, as you can see. I don't know if the story is very going to grip us. I don't know if this is a gripper. I think this might be a back patter and a send you on your wayer as far as plots go. It's not. This one's not going to grip you. I mean, don't take my word for it. Let's delve into the Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony. Let's see where it takes place in bear continuity. Now, obviously, it's an I Can Read book, which means it takes place in I Can Read continuity. Obviously, not in chapter book continuity, because in chapter book continuity, we've had our horse story, Berenstain Bears Ride Like the Wind, in which Sister finds a ghost horse? I can't remember what happens. She finds a wild horse that allows her to tame it, and she rides it in a race like the wind. This is not that book. This is about a shaggy little pony that, and I was going to say it shags, but that's a whole other thing. It's not shagadelic, baby. Yeah, it's just shaggy. It's a shaggy little pony. And the cubs are upon it. Is that exciting enough for you? If it is, then hold on to your horses, because this story is about to take off. If you're excited at the thought of two little kids riding a horse, this is the book for you. If you're not, what are you doing here? It's a Berenstain Bears podcast. All right, here we go. So, brother and sister, as you heard up top, they like helping Farmer Ben on the farm. We know from history that the bear cubs enjoy helping Farmer Ben, and that Farmer Ben enjoys having the cubs work for him for free. As we saw in the book, The Berenstain Bears, I believe The Summer Job, where brother and sister were like, we'd love to help you on your farm. And he's like, I'll give you some corn if you like. I probably remember correctly. He gives them like a quarter of their corn patch, and they are allowed to sell their corn at market. And that's like his form of payment. And I'm like, I think that's sharecropping, Farmer Ben. And I believe on top of hiring children, that's illegal as well. But they like helping Farmer Ben. They like it the pigs. They like it the chickens. And Farmer Ben, he likes the free help. But then one day he gets a new friend moves in on the farm, and it's Oscar the pony, a shaggy little pony. And this is a little pony. What do you call those? Like Shetland ponies? It's a little pony. Like Ben couldn't ride this thing. I don't know why it's there. Let's see if they explain why he's there. He's there to be taken care of, I guess. We know that the pony likes the cubs because he blows out of his nose onto their hands. He blows out of his nose onto their hands. And I looked this up. I was like, is this true? Does that mean that the horse likes you, or a pony? Does that mean a horse likes you if it blows out of its nose on your hands? And it turns out it very well may like you. It could also just be excited, or thinks like it's going to go out and play. It's a positive sign, let's say. If the horse is like, I'm not going to do it for real, I'll blow all over. You don't want to see what happens if I blow forcefully out of my nose. I will not be able to speak into this microphone. But if a horse does like blowing out of its nose, I think it's a positive sign. Horse experts in the audience, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't believe the Berenstains are leading us on here. I think this horse is actually happy to see. I don't know if it's as laser focused as the illustration shows. I don't know if the horse is like, I like the cut of your jib. Look. Fire out the nose. Like, I think it's more just like sort of a natural response that a horse could have. Like, it's like, oh, I'm a happy horse. Except it won't do that with its mouth. That's a whole other response. If a horse does the thing with its lips, it's doing something else. I know, because I read about horse expressions today in prep for this episode, just to find out if blowing out the nose is it's a positive thing. The horse is excited. It's happy to see them. I also learned that if like you're out riding a horse with a bunch of other people, like just sort of like riding your horses like this, and a horse is like blowing out of its nose. If it keeps doing that, it could get the other horses excited, and then who knows what'll happen. So the horse is happy to see them. So Farmer Ben, not a liar, I guess is the point. The cubs are like, can we take care of this horse? And Farmer Ben's like, yeah, why do you think I showed him to you? So they do take care of the horse. They give Oscar some hay. They wash him. They brush him. They dig the stuff out of his hooves. Fun side note: if you're ever on YouTube and you want something to watch, there's a whole subgenre of videos that is just people cleaning horse hooves. If you're interested, you learn about these kind of things when YouTube recommends them to you because you've been watching videos of people draining culverts in like British Columbia or wherever they were. I think maybe in Canada. I can't remember where the guys. Okay, so because I watched a few videos of a guy who clears hornets out of houses, it started recommending videos of people who do all kinds of things on houses, including people who like pressure wash houses and clean off roofs. I think because one of the roof cleaning videos had someone fighting hornets, I think. In any case, you watch a few pressure washing videos, it starts showing you lawn mowing videos, and then it starts showing you culvert draining videos, and YouTube is weird. It's a whole like section of YouTube I didn't know existed. Also, hi, I'm a 45-year-old man. That's the kind of things it starts recommending to you after a while. And amidst all that, it recommends horse hoof cleaning videos. So if you're of a bent where you want to watch horses get their hooves picked out, just go to YouTube and say like horse hoof picking, and they'll be like, we got you covered, mate. And sister is shoveling out the poo. She's pooping out the shoveling. Because as we know, sister bear and animal poop go hand in hand. Frequently the poop is referred to as gifts. Sometimes it's just referred to as poo. But sister's always the one who's there. She's there for it. She knows the poo. She knows animal poo. And Oscar knows how to poop. So Farmer Ben's like, hey, you've done a great job doing my job. You want to ride this horse? And they're like, why not? I mean, they literally, they say, could we? And Farmer Ben says, why not? And I'm like, it was your idea, Ben. You want to ride my horse? Oh, can I? Why not? I don't know. You made the offer. You asked me if I wanted to ride it. Yeah, why not? Go ahead. No, honestly, I was responding to your question. I know. You want to ride it? Yeah. Okay, yes, I would like to ride the horse. Oh, yeah, fine. Go ahead and do. Okay, look, you can. This is what their conversations were like. He's an old man. He's very curmudgeonly. I don't know what to tell you. He gets them riding helmets, saddle and bridle, and leads them around. Now, Oscar is a little pony. Oscar is awesome. Oscar's chill. They have fun riding the horse around. I'd say the brother's almost too big for this little pony, by the way. But so they are having a go at Oscar. Every day, after taking care of Oscar, they ride him. They get pretty independent with it. We get to see some great Berenstain animal illustrations. We get some chickens. We get some ducks. We get some pigs. Some nice pastoral drawings from the Berenstains here. But plot kicks in. There is a riding show coming up. And Farmer Ben's like, hey, there's going to be a riding show right here. And if you win, you get prizes. And I do think it's funny that Farmer Ben was like, I'm not going to tell the Cubs about the riding show until it's like weird not to. I'm just going to keep this on the down low because, I don't actually know why Farmer Ben didn't tell them until the day before. In any case, they're like, can we be in the show? And Farmer Ben's like, why not? I guess, again, Farmer Ben, you brought it up. Hey, Cubs, there's going to be a riding show for Cubs here tomorrow on horses like you've been doing. Can we do it? Why not? And he has this look on his face like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, again, Ben, don't hang up the sign. Clearly, you're not advertising for this just on the side of your barn. It's a poster board it's about the size of a regular piece of poster board. No one's seeing this from the road. This has been advertised at riding schools all over Beartown, right? Like, He's just used, his farm is just being used to host this riding show. Right? Like that's what's going on. You could have just kept it from the Cubs, and then the next day they'd have shown up for work and been like, what's all these Cubs doing here? He'd be like, oh, a bunch of the riding schools are having a riding show here today. And they could have been like, oh, okay. Or you could have just told them, it's for kids in riding class, and you're not in riding class. Get your parents to get your riding class. Like in that Gone with the Wind book or whatever you guys did. So the riding show comes up. It's all these fancy ponies, and there's Cubs in fancy clothes, and the Cubs are feeling a little bit self-conscious because their pony is not fancy. It is Shaggy, as we have covered. And their clothes are not fancy. They are the Cubs' clothes that they always wear. Everyone else is decked out in their stirrup pants and their black helmets and their riding jackets. And the parents are all excited, and the judges are looking not too sure about this year's crop of Cubs. But Ben's like, don't worry, Oscar's going to do great. And again, I'm like, is Ben like part of this? Like, is Ben one of the sponsors? Is he a host? Like, how does Ben fit into all this? Does he get a cut of their prize money if they win? I don't know why Ben is so invested in all this, or why he's not in the audience. Ben, go sit down. These aren't your kids. Mama and Papa and Honey are in the audience, but they don't say anything. Ben's just like, you're my Cubs now. Like, this is my time to shine. It's finally Benny's turn. Any case, the fancy horses go, and the judges are like, all right. But then the wind picks up. The wind picks up and leaves blow around, and every horse freaks the horse out. Every single horse is like, leaves. And this is I think I brought this up in Ride Like the Wind. My thing about horses, and if you know me, you know this is my thing about horses. First of all, I'm not a horse guy. I've never been a horse guy. I'm not a horse man, although my name is Philip. And if you know anything about Philip, like the name, you know that Philip means horse lover. My name means horse lover. I'm not a lover of horses. I tolerate horses. I am fine with them. If I'm in their presence, I am like, that is a large animal. That is borderline megafauna. I don't need to be near this thing for very long. It could stave in my head because leaves blew around, which is what these horses do. I don't know why one of the largest land mammals in the world is also the most terrified of everything. What is it with horses? Like, why are they like this? I assume it somehow benefits them on a survival standpoint. But why are horses always just like, the sun? Or like, careful around the horse. If you turn your head weird, it will murder you. Why are horses like that? Anyway, some leaves blow around. The horses kill all their riders. Except for Oscar. Leaves don't bother Oscar. We haven't really established this in the story. But leaves don't bother Oscar. Sister trots with Osk. Brother trots with Osk. The judges are like, okay. So I'm like, did the other horses like never go outside? Like, did the other horses train in like a hermetically sealed like building? Do they only train in like an old airline hangar? I don't understand why the other horses have never encountered wind and leaves before. And why Oscar is more like cool with wind and leaves. I assume the other horses live on like a horse farm or some kind of like stable situation. I assume that the other horses are like outside. I don't know why that. All it says is that they're fancy. They're fancy horses. Yeah. Some of the ponies were very fancy. Some of the riders wore fancy clothes. The fancy ponies and the fancy riders, they sure are fancy. Leaves swirl around their legs and they buck and kick, which is the worst behavior for a horse, by the way. There has to be more to this story than just leaves and wind. Like, these horses have been traumatized by something. If I remember from when Remy was on our show in the Ride Like the Wind episode, our guest of that episode, she mentioned that a horse, if something scary happens to a horse and it imprints on the horse, like, and there's something in the area that imprints on the horse, like it'll forever associate being scared or threatened with that thing it saw. So maybe like a horse saw leaves, like some leaves blew around at the time when a horse, like, was pushed over by a very large man. I don't know what happens to horses. So now from now on, the horses are like, leaves? No! Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But for every horse to be in that, like, for every horse to be afraid of leaves, maybe they did all come from the same stable. Maybe it's like this terrible stable that like run by like horrible, like Roald Dahl-esque villains, but there's also a lot of leaves blowing around. I don't know. In any case, Oscar wasn't. He's rad. So the ponies and the riders get ready for their prizes. It makes a big show of telling us what each place is. Blue is first, red is second, yellow is third. I mean, yeah. And if you look at the picture of all the horses lined up, they look like horses. These horses aren't over-anthropomorphized because they're being ridden by bears. But, so they all just kind of have neutral horse expressions. Like, these horses don't look excited. They're just like, eh. They also knew they screwed up, with the leaves and all. But in the front of the line, for some reason, is Oscar and brother and sister on Oscar. It's that picture of Oscar looking ready to die. Just looking ready to be like, out of the, like, I am donezo. I am forever done being a part of this family, being the horse beneath these children. I don't want to be here. I'm a shaggy little pony. I just want to be shaggy and hang out. Zoinks, yo. Sister hopes they get a ribbon. They do, of course. They get first ribbon. Blue number 1. First place. Because nothing bothered Oscar. That's what Ben says. I told you nothing bothers old Oscar, says Ben, probably meaning I knew that if I said you can't use my farm unless my people win first place, you would win first place, which is probably what happened. Again, it's his farm. He owns, like, he can easily say, like, you know what? I'm not going to do the horse show again next year. Oh, where are you going to have it? I don't know. Maybe at that horse riding academy that seems to have a horse riding show every year. I'm not sure. But my kids are going to, my horse, yeah, the shaggy little pony over there, the SLP, it wins first, or this thing ends. Because I don't think, like, nothing bothers this horse is a category. I don't know. I'm not a judge of horses, but I don't think I've ever heard of a horse being like, you can't really do any tricks. It can't trot or gallop. It can't dressage. But nothing bothers it. First place. Solid horse. Nothing bothers it. Also, we just know that leaves don't bother it. We don't know nothing bothers it. Have you pulled a gun on it? Check it out. The horse blows on their hands again. Is this the same picture of the horse blowing on the hands from earlier? Let me see. Horse is blowing on the hands. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough for government work. Look at that. I mean, you can't look at it if you're just listening to this, but the horse is just blowing on their hands. Whoever illustrated this one, Mike or Jan, really does a good job. It doesn't look like the horse is blowing on their hands. It looks like the horse is looking at their hands, and the horse's headlights are coming out of its nose. It looks like the horse is like my laser beams coming out of the nose. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a very strange picture. It looks like the horse can light up your hands, and that's it. That is the Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony. It doesn't lie. I mean, it's a book about a shaggy little pony. It's a book about a shaggy little pony. It's very short. You can buy this book. You can buy this book on audio. Don't forget that first-time reader books are available on audio, which I find hilarious because they are 5 minutes long. They are 5-minute long audiobooks that cost not nothing. They're going to cost you a few bucks for 5 minutes of audio that is not connected to the book. Like, a lot of times with these books, the illustrations in these books, it does quite a bit of heavy lifting. The story itself, the narration isn't going to win you over. These aren't the original Berenstain Bears books with a lot of clever dialogue and a lot of character development. These are, then it was time for brother and sister to ride. They took turns on Oscar. The wind and the leaves did not bother Oscar. He was quiet and calm. He trotted in front of the judges. The judges smiled and nodded. Although I will say, the guy who does the first time audiobook readings does a voice for Brother Bear that is one of the most hilariously irritating voices in audiobooks. And the guy's good. Like, he's a solid reader. But he does this. I can't do it, but it's like, but he does this voice for brother. It does not sound like you would imagine brother. It's very high. I can't remember exactly how it goes down, but it's very high. And I'm like, just do a voice of brother. To me, brother just talks like this. Like, hey, I'm brother. I'm Brother Bear. In any case, this is, I shouldn't flip through it like that. It's probably jarring if anyone was watching this. That's the Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony. I Can Read, 2011, beginning reading number one level. The question on everybody's mind is, should I get this book? Maybe if you're a completist or you have a little kid who's learning how to read and is really enamored of horses. Maybe then. Oscar the horse is very cute. He's not overly anthropomorphized. It is a horse. It is a shaggy pony. It's that weird I Can Read. It's this era's regular Berenstain. Like, if you look at pictures of, like, in the pictures of Farmer Ben in the very beginning, Farmer Ben looks really washed out compared to the other cubs. Like, there seems to be, like, like, the cubs have, you can see the heavy lines around, like, the outline is, like, heavy, but if you look at Farmer Ben, it almost looks like they watercolored over, not pencil, but like you can sort of see where the watercolor meets the line. It looks weird. I don't know how to explain it. It looks unfinished or incomplete somehow. And that's this era of Berenstain Bears. And it really stands out in these books in particular. So if you're looking for the best Berenstain Bears art, I wouldn't say go for this book. If you're looking for a charming little story about a pony, sure. You do get some good animal illustrations. You get some good Jan and Mike process. Like, here's the cubs feeding the horse. Here's the cubs washing the horse. Here's them picking out his hooves. But otherwise, it's no Berenstain Bears classic. But, it's not going to cost you much either. It's only like $5 or something. So, yeah, that's it. That's the Berenstain Bears and the Shaggy Little Pony. There's no questions or anything after this. It's just the book. It's just an easy book to read. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this. There's not a whole lot to say about it. I'm sorry. Brother and sister, they act in character. They help Farmer Ben out. Farmer Ben takes advantage of them. Will he in the future? I don't know. Will this pony ever show up again? Probably not. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can find me on Twitter at BStainedBearcast. You can find this show on Facebook. Facebook, you know where Facebook is. Just look up Deep in Bear Country. This is where I do Facebook. Sometimes I do live casts of the show on Facebook. So tune in there. Maybe I'll be on YouTube one day. Maybe I'll try somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. I know how this works. That's why I'm doing it like this. You can listen to my other shows. I have 2 other podcasts. I have Pizza Toast, which is a Babysitters Club adjacent podcast that I do with Christy Admiral. I have It's Del Toro Time, which is a Guillermo del Toro adjacent podcast that I do with my child, Willow. We will be starting in a couple of weeks, Nightmare Alley. We're covering the novel Nightmare Alley. We're covering the 1947 movie Nightmare Alley. And then we're covering the new Guillermo del Toro movie, Nightmare Alley, when it hits. It's a hat trick, a 3-parter, hot dog, hip hop hooray. I don't know what I'm saying. So tune into that if you want to hear us talk about Nightmare Alley, carnivals and fortune telling and seances. And it's a heck of a book. And a heck of a movie, and I hope a heck of another movie. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm about to start doing the theme music again, so it's going to probably be very loud. So I will see you all next time, deep in Bear Country. Is this loud? I don't know. Is it playing? I don't know. It's probably really loud, but I can't tell because I'm not wearing headphones. Out. Stop. Say goodbye. And we will be done. It's done. Are we done? Goodbye. How do I end this?